Hello! In this lesson, we will study the phrasal verbs. Phrasal verbs are very common, especially in informal English. A phrasal verb is conformed by a verb and a particle. Let's see the example of the phrasal verb put off. In put off, we have the verb put and the particle of. Let's see an example. I put off my trip. It's the same as if I say, I postponed my trip. Notice that the verb and the particle have a special meaning. Let's continue. When you use the same verb with a different particle, the meaning changes. For example, put plus of means to postpone. But put plus on means to cover your body with clothes. Put plus back means to return something to its original place. And put plus away means to put something in its original place. Some phrasal verbs have more than one meaning. For example, the phrasal verb keep on means to continue, but it also means not to remove something. The same happens with the phrasal verb take off. It means to remove, but also in other contexts, it means to leave. Let's study some variations in the phrasal verbs. Intransitive phrasal verbs don't have objects. For example, Tony's computer broke down. Jane grew up to be an important CEO. Most phrasal verbs are separable. The verb and the particle can be separated. When the object is a noun, you can put the noun after the particle. For example, Jimmy put on his coat. Or you can also put the noun between the verb and the particle. Jimmy put his coat on. When to separate phrasal verbs? You can separate the verb and the particle when the object consists of just a few words. For example, Mr. Wilson called his appointment off. When not to separate phrasal verbs. You cannot separate the verb and the particle when the object is longer than 4 words. For example, Mr. Wilson called off his 3:30 appointment with Dr. Smith. Not Mr. Wilson called his 3:30 appointment with Dr. Smith off. The second one, it's incorrect. The verb and the particle can't be separated. With this verb, you cannot put the object between the verb and the particle, even when the object is a pronoun. Let's see the examples. Yesterday, I ran into Alan, my co-worker. Or, yesterday, I ran into him. Not, yesterday, I ran Alan into. Or, yesterday, I ran him into. These two sentences are incorrect. Phrasal verbs that must be separated. There is a small amount of number of these verbs. With these verbs, you must put the object between the verb and the particle. Tina kept her uniform on. Not, Tina kept on her uniform. And finally, we have the 3-word phrasal verbs. These verbs are usually inseparable when we have the phrasal verb plus a preposition. For example, Tina dropped out of school to be an entrepreneur. Joe went back to his old job. And that's it. You've done an excellent work.